Okay, so now we're done filling in the coordinates for all the faces. As you can see, from top to bottom, we are done. Okay, so now on to the next part. Okay, now we're going to add a void display function. Of course, this is where we're actually going to have a few of the GLAD functions that are going to help us display our cube, and which will help in clearing the buffers. It's actually part of the GLAD library itself. When using GLAD, you must actually have these functions in order for it to operate. So we're going to clear the buffer, the color buffer, using GLAD. If you go check up on GLAD library and how it's used, you're going to find that these functions are almost used each and every time you use GLAD. But okay, you can see like the autofill. The library already comes with the function. That's why you can see I can type, and the autofill function, just when you press enter, it actually automatically fills in the function. Though you cannot be able to see it, so you will see it when you actually type in the code. Okay, but now that we have loaded the identity, we are going to set the view. The view is being set technically because of our display window. We want to look at the object itself as something separate from the window other than the window itself. So using glue lookat function, you actually going to have the cube separated from the rest of the display window other than the cube actually filling the whole window. There is not going to be a difference. Assume if the window is black and the cube is white. So if the cube fills the window, you're not going to be able to see whether we have a cube or not. We're just going to be seeing a white screen. And of course, the function to draw the cube, which we had declared earlier with all the coordinates. Okay, and of course, swap buffers. These are the functions that usually come in the code template. You can't use GLAD without them. Okay, so we're gonna specify another function to reshape. So we're going to be using the width and the height of the window. So what we actually gonna do with this function is actually kind of specify sorry. So what we're gonna do with the void reshape function, you're actually going to specify the window width and the height. So we don't want the window to be on the full screen, though we're just going to put it to be apart. Anyway, it's not that much important, though. Well, it won't be bad to specify, but what we're using it for, the specification mostly, is the GL matrix mode, which contains the GL projection and of course the GL load identity, which is going to load our cube. And for the glue perspective, Okay, what it actually does. Okay, so what it actually does is it actually specifies how the 3D will be mapped onto a 2D plane. So 45 is actually the y, the angle on the y-axis from how we're going to be viewing it. Because remember, we're viewing it on a 2D plane, and a 0.1 is actually the distance that is going to be near the clipping plane, and 100 is the distance far to the far clipping plane. Sorry. And of course, the GL load identity is actually used to load the identity matrix into the current one so that it sets up the projection. Okay, so we're going to have a main which will take up arguments. Okay. Okay, so we have int main with int argc and char and agree. So basically, these are the parameters where argc counts. Oh, sorry, argc stands for argument count, and agree stands for argument vector. So the glad init function, which takes the argc and agree, initializes glad. And for the glad init display mode, which takes the glad double and the glad RGB, and it sets the display mode, specifying that you're going to be using double buffering. That's the glad double. Of course, the color mode is RGB, and you're going to be using a depth buffer for the 3D rendering. The glad create window function, you can see that we have named it Rubik's Cube, which will be the name of the display window. So when I debug the code, you're actually gonna see, oh, there's an error. Okay, oh, that's a typo. So I'm just gonna edit it, and I'm gonna debug it again. Oh, typo again. Okay, D in front of TH. Okay, debug it again, and there we go. It's terminated with 0 errors. So I'm just gonna go and run it, and after I run it, the output is going to be this. Here is the output. There we have our cube. Of course, he has a white face just like we specified, but we cannot move it.